Oh, it's not a cut. That's a slice.
Now this is a quack hook.
Oh,
Short
wow.
and into the right rough, headed to the trees.
Oh my God, it's a shake. He decided to re-tee. That's a shake. Oh, man.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Two-Way Miss podcast. Thank you for joining us this evening, this morning, wherever you might be listening, watching. We appreciate everyone. We hit 10 subscribers on the YouTube channel, so if you're listening to us, I'm raising the roof right now. Shows my age more than anything. But anyway, appreciate everyone who subscribed to the YouTube channel. Please be sure to check out, the YouTube vids. We're putting one out for every podcast. We got plans for some more content coming out. Be sure to check us out. Check us out on Twitter at the Two-Way Miss, Instagram at B&B Podcasts, and then just go on YouTube, search Birdies and Beer Podcast will be the first one that pops up. And then a link to the channel will be in the description of the podcast and of the YouTube video in case you stumble upon it. But thank you, everyone, for listening, watching. We really appreciate it. The podcasts are doing really well. The YouTube videos are doing great. So we appreciate everyone enjoying the podcast, however they might be enjoying it. So there's a lot to talk about tonight. But as always, we have to say hello to the good buddy, Banksy. Banksy, good to see you, buddy. How you doing?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing great.
Awesome. Drink in his hand, feeling good.
Feeling good.
So
It is Wednesday.
that's, hey, listen, you don't need to tell me twice. I just haven't shown mine yet. Cheers to everybody out there on a Wednesday night. So we got a lot to talk about. There's a couple topics we want to hit tonight. First, the name of our last podcast was literally called Phil. And I imagine, I just hope everyone imagines like shaking their head.
With the shaking the head emoji.
Yeah. So I hope you can now go back and like look at the title of that show and know that that's what I was doing as I wrote that. It was one of those like your mother tells you like, oh, Phil. It's one of those.
I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
So obviously there's a big tournament happening this week. The Players Championship, the PGA Tours, baby, as you will.
$20 million.
Yeah, I think the winner gets what, 3.1 or something? 3.6. Good Lord.
Yeah. Last place. Well, if you make the cut, last place, $43,000.
It's not a bad 4 days of work.
Top 36, you're still making six figures.
Craziness.
Yeah.
So this is the PGA Tours.
Phil's plan is coming together. Just kidding.
So the PGA Tours, baby, is this week. There's a lot of press going on. There's a lot of availability of players and PGA officials and, Mr. Commish himself. So I know you wanted to bring this up. So why don't you go into sort of what you took from Monahan's comments and some of the thoughts you were having around it?
Yeah, obviously with everything still swirling with Phil's, he's not playing this week. He's still, taking his time away. Whether that's a suspension, whether that's self-inflicted time away, should the public know about it? Should we know, if there's suspensions being handed down? Should we know the time frame of these suspensions? I say absolutely, we should. I know some of the other players also kind of said, yeah, like the league or the PGA Tour should be more transparent with that stuff.
Rory called him out.
Yeah. Rory's a sneaky talker, right?
Yeah.
He's got a lot to say, and we're gonna touch on him with some of his comments from this past week. But basically, obviously, the questions are coming up to PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan. Phil, and what I took away from it, and I have to believe it's driving Phil crazy. Basically Monahan he's taking a courteous and professional approach, but you can still hear the underlying tone of, I'm in charge, I'm your boss. You need to come to me. We'll talk, and then I'll see if I'm going to let you back onto the tour.
Yeah.
because Jay Monahan basically was like, yeah, ball's in Phil's court. I need a phone call. He hasn't called me yet. I need a phone call. So basically, you need to call me, come back and kiss my ass, and beg me to come back.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. That has to be driving Phil crazy.
Yeah. When you brought this up,
Right?
it was a really good point. That's why we opened the show with it, to sort of, tail off of our pod from last week. But I was just thinking of something. I'm also thinking, like, at this point, if you're Jay Monahan, why leave that door open? Like, if you set a precedent now that someone can literally go and hire lawyers to create a league that will be a direct competitor of yours, if you're going to allow them to do that and then not punish them in some way or let them come back, like, from now until you're not commissioner anymore, you have no leg to stand on. Like, what will someone have to do to not be able to play the PGA Tour anymore?
Right. And that question again was specifically asked. Reporters aren't stupid. They're going to keep asking the same questions over and over again until, and he did. He left the door open. Well, because every situation will be, different, or every, situations could be, but get transparent, get your rules straight. Let the fans know, what we're looking at here. And I don't know. Could Phil come out and be like, "Yeah, guys, I'm suspended. Like, you won't see me till the U.S. Open or the PGA. I'm suspended."
At this point, what else are they going to do? What else are they going to do to him? You know what I mean? Like, why not?
Yeah, no,
He's still the problem agree. The problem is he's still trying to save face.
Yeah,
to a certain extent. I think with certain people he's trying to save face, and I think that's what he's focused on. I think if he's really trying to go against the PGA Tour and is really done, he absolutely should do that.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Do we know for sure if what he's going to do with the rest of his career and
no,
life?
His statement said nothing of sticking to the PGA Tour.
I mean, we could wake up tomorrow, a week from now, and to a Instagram post or a tweet.
Yeah, he's saying, signed with Live Golf to. Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate all my opportunities and everything I've done for this league, the PGA Tour, but I'm taking my talents to
Saudi to the kingdom. God, that's such a good movie. This is a tangent. Do you remember that movie with Jamie Foxx? The Kingdom?
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but
it's been a long time. That's got to be
I love that movie.
Old?
It's
maybe not 15 years.
It's what's his name? It's oh my God, why can't I remember his name? Jason Bateman?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
No. It's Jamie Foxx, the guy who's in Ozarks, and he was in
Bateman.
Yeah, it was Bateman.
Yeah. Okay.
Jamie Foxx. I can't think of the chick's name right now. She does the Capital One commercials. Oh my God.
Jennifer Gardner.
Yes, thank you. It's like an unbelievable B movie. It's not an A, it's not an A movie, it's not in the category of Avengers or pick a really good movie. Goodfellas, all that
Dumb
stuff.
and Dumber.
Yeah, of course. But it's a really, really good B movie. I'm sorry, that's a really bad tangent. But every time we talk about this, it's all I think. It's all I think about. While I'm being quiet, I'm just replaying scenes of that movie in my head. So, no, you're right. We could hear tomorrow that Phil has signed a, multi-year contract worth X number of millions of dollars, right, with that Live Golf, company, and will play in these Saudi-run events on the Asia Tour, right?
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Or he'll be back on the PGA Tour, and everybody will know that he came crawling back to Monahan and got down on his hands and knees and said, "Please, please let me come back."
Yeah, I don't see that happening. If you want to,
I don't. Yeah,
if you want to put bets on it,
and who knows? I could be spinning it in my own manipulated way, but the tone from Monahan and the way he said it, I just can't imagine that sitting well with Phil. You son of a bitch.
I mean, again,
I'm
when you
gonna
think you're the smartest guy in the room and
smartest, funniest,
yeah, coolest,
yeah,
all the above.
cool.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, look, from the suspension standpoint, I think everyone thinks the tour should be more transparent with that stuff.
Absolutely.
I think when you have
it's
your most recognized, one of your most recognized players and a person who like sits on the policy board saying that, like, it holds a lot of weight when Rory's the one saying it.
right. Yeah, absolutely. They should be. I mean, I don't want to hear somebody's taking time away.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Don't try and shelter these guys from being normal human beings that make mistakes and do things
Right.
that, yeah, you're going to get a fine and a suspension or one or the other, you know?
Well, can you imagine if like
Um,
the NFL just banned that guy for a year for gambling, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine
Yeah.
if he was just gone and the NFL didn't say anything about it, and people are
He's
just like
taking some
wondering,
personal-
yeah,
Yeah.
people are
Taking
just
some personal
yeah.
time
He says I'm taking a season off, to, like just for fun. Everyone would be
just
like,
to reevaluate.
everyone would be like, excuse
Yeah.
me. Like we knew,
Well,
like Adam Schefter had like practically had the games he bet on, like an
Yeah.
hour after that was done.
right. And we're supposed to just take it face value
Right,
and taking time away.
Yeah, the PGA
I
Tour
don't
is
I
such
don't
a
agree with that.
reputable
Not for a
and
professional.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm
So
with you there.
That's gotta change.
It'll be interesting. I think, like we had talked about, there were rumors that the Saudi Golf had plans to make some announcements like during Players Week, like really just to kind of stick it to them. So who knows? Like maybe they try and move forward with something. Maybe Phil hasn't burned the bridge there. They're going to be at some point. They're going to be desperate enough for somebody like that, because again, we have no idea who's going to watch this. Like,
Yeah, or where to watch it, how to watch it.
right? Yeah. So it'll be interesting. But it was a good point that you brought up sort of before we started recording. So we wanted to make sure we got that in. But like we said, it is the week of the Players Championship. But we want to talk about last week at Bay Hill, the Arnold Palmer Invitational presented by MasterCard, I think is like the official name of it, which is ridiculous. But it came with, we've been talking a lot in the first few tournaments, like starting with the Tournament of Champions in Hawaii, that the scores were really low on the PGA Tour this year. Even at places that, sometimes are considered a little bit more difficult. And then they made Bay Hill really, really hard. And
The weekend took no prisoners.
And even got, people I follow in golf who are usually on the side of like, this stuff needs to be more difficult. Like even they were swaying to like, this is unwatchable. Like you just can't watch it. And I think from my standpoint, I think I agree to a certain point. They made a good point that like, when they pull off the shot that is called for, you should reward them. When you pull off the shot that's required of that golf hole, you should be rewarded with a scoring opportunity. If it's set up difficult and things are, firm and fast, but if you pull off the shot, right, there should be a certain reward to that. You shouldn't like get every advantage, even if you mishit something, right, or hit it 5 yards short or long, right? You shouldn't get the benefit of the doubt for that. When it's playing soft, you're going to still have a pretty good look at a birdie, even if you hit it a little bit off. So I think I agree with them from that standpoint. I think you wanted to go into a little bit about how the players were talking about it, sort of in their post-round interviews.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Well, let's hear what do you think about it first before we get into what they thought?
I enjoyed watching this weekend. I did. We start the season off with 34 under par over 4 days. Like, okay, that's fun for a while, but then it's not fun.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw a stat that this was the first time since John Rahm won the U.S. Open that there's been a single digit under par winning score.
Hmm.
So from John Rahm's US Open win up until last weekend at the Arnold Palmer, the winning score has been double digits. I'm pretty sure I saw that stat, which I mean that's
Yeah, that's
pretty crazy. I didn't mind the course. The thing, the equipment and the golf balls are so responsive, and the iron, the equipment, the irons, the drivers, the golf balls. There's so much technology in golf today with equipment, and these guys, the balls go straight. They stop on the greens. You know what I mean. I liked it. I liked seeing them play a tough golf course, and it was not a surprise.
Yeah.
They said we are drying this place out
Right.
on Saturday and Sunday, and you can only you only have control over so much.
Yeah.
What the winds look like, what the temperatures look like, and how the golf balls are going to react and whatever. I don't mind it every once in a while, but just like that, I don't want to watch that every weekend either.
Yeah.
Just like I don't want to watch them go 25, 30 under every weekend.
Yeah, I think that's an
I
unfortunate.
like it.
It's an unfortunate thing about the PGA Tour is that they don't have that balance right now. It's such a crapshoot every week. Like we as viewers have no idea, right, how a course is going to play that week.
Yeah, but they did say we are drying this place out for Saturday and Sunday, and you have both ends of the spectrum, and I'll just use the two most significant names. John Rahm said, "I loved it. I didn't play very well. I need more experience. It's the first time he's ever played.
Yeah,
but I loved it because it's not just a putting contest.
Right.
Like you have to play. First of all, you have to keep your concentration for all 18 holes,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to play what the golf course gives you." And he said, "I like it. I had no problems with it. I like it. I'll definitely be back." Then you have Rory, who, again, on a soft golf course on Thursday, fired a 65, got out to a lead, and then shot back-to-back 76 on the weekend, and then proceeded to go right to the interview booth and complain that the course was too hard.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just think it's highlighting your flaws as a player. Put any of these guys out on a soft golf course and something that's not bouncing greens that aren't bouncing balls off and rough, whatever. Put any of these guys out there and they're going to go 20 under, 25 under 4 days. But you bring some of that challenging part to the golf course, it's going to expose flaws. And what are Rory's flaws? His wedge game sucks.
Yeah.
And he's not a very good putter.
Yeah.
And what that translates to 2 significantly over par rounds on the weekends, which then leads to him bitching about it in his interview after the round.
Yeah.
And I heard somewhere, it's a good point, and Roy's not the only one. There's other players too, but this was him and Rahm, not to get on different tangents, but him and Rahm are the 2 most notable names that we'll talk about. And I heard somebody brought it up, if Arnie was still alive, like he was still alive and he's still watching the golf tournament, he's still standing up there 18, if he's still there present on the property, are these guys complaining about the golf course with Arnie on the property? I don't think they would.
Yeah, probably not.
But the other frustrating part with Rory too is he then kind of alluded to, well, if the course is going to play this hard, some other players might not be coming back next year. And it's like, that's a dick move.
Yeah.
You're here, you're here at a golf course and at a facility that is, owned or run or whatever by one of the most influential players in the history of golf, and because you blew up on the weekend, your first instinct is to go complain that the golf course is too hard.
Right. Like, are you
And
gonna,
I
are you
didn't.
gonna not go back to Augusta if it plays really hard?
Yeah, and I just didn't agree with his comments, and honestly, I would have felt better if he would have been like, "Listen, the course is too hard for me. I'm not going to speak for all the other players, but for me personally, because my wedge game isn't that good, and I'm not that great of a putter right now. It was hard for me. The course was hard for me. Personalize it there.
Yeah.
If you're going to complain about it, personalize it. But I don't know. Do you have any
I mean, but
thoughts
you
one
bring
way
up
or another?
you bring up a good point that, like, I've never heard this before about this course, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if they super. I know they let the rough go. Okay, they said that the rough is thick. The rough is thick. The rough is juicy. And
But like,
and
so is the
we
U.S.
got
Open.
right. Yeah, yeah. And you've just come off the entire season. So from what, mid-January till now, you've been playing courses where the winning score is many, many, many under par.
Yeah.
So then you get a week where you dry things out and you play a hard golf course, and it's, oh, the golf course wasn't fair. It was too hard. No, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was pleased that Rom said what he said, because I think he's sort of our white knight of hope up here. He's like the one we're holding on to not be swayed by these PGA Tour, people. And I mean, it used to be that like Dustin was like a PGA Tour winner, right? He's won all these ho-hum tournaments, but he didn't have a lot of majors. Then he wins a PGA, right? He wins the PGA.
No, it was a U.S.
Open. Sorry, thank you.
He lost the PGA.
Yeah, on that
hitting out of a
right.
foot bunker.
Right. But anyway, so he wins the U.S. Open, right? And everyone kind of thinks, oh, like he's won, finally on a hard golf course. Then he wins a Masters in November, right? When it's not a usual, sets a scoring record, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of years now, kind of ever since Rory's stopped winning majors, people have started to consider Rory like he's just a PGA Tour winner, right? He's not
he's old. He's
not a
old
hard
news.
He's not a hard golf course winner anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And Rom is still that guy, right? He'll win anywhere. Like, we have no doubt. So I was happy to hear his comments. I wasn't shocked at Rory's comments because I do feel like he is in that camp now. I feel like he is, like, that's who he is now. I don't know why, but like, he seems to be content with his wedge game being terrible and his putting being terrible. But still, when you play these courses, you have so many chances, and his driving is such an outlier, to everyone else, that he can get by with winning, maybe one or two tournaments a year. Regular PGA Tour, right, tournaments. It's so, when you ask me like my opinion, like, it sucks that they're complaining about a hard golf course. I'm still like, I'll forever be disappointed at Rory for like turning into this after what he started out as. Excuse me. I'm super happy that Rom said what he said, because like, he is, he's my hope. He's my knight in shining armor that I will continue to follow. And I think your point about that you brought up about if Arnold is there, the answer is no, they don't complain.
No.
At least not publicly.
I mean, unless you're in there with Shipnook, locker room talk is locker room talk.
Did he do something to you in like a past life? Like, I feel like you're on Bill's side of this for this whole off the record, on the record thing.
It just felt like a moment, so I took it. I don't know.
Feels like you're taking sides, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
Nothing leaves the locker room. Nothing leaves the locker room, Regz.
Dude, Netflix is getting in the locker room. That's what's going to leave the locker room. So it wasn't surprising. It was disappointing. It's unfortunately, like, I think we're numb to this complaining. Like,
Yeah.
They're always going to find something, right?
But as a player, like as one of the top players in the world, most recognizable golfers in the world, you're coming off that course 76 on the weekend. And instead of owning it, like you complain about the golf course when you clearly your weakness is wedge play and putting.
Right.
And they dried those greens out. Like you sound like a 2-year-old. Play better.
Yeah.
Play better.
Yeah.
I did not. I go back and forth with Rory because Rory talks a lot, and I think we talked about this a little bit off air for a minute. Rory talks a lot.
Yeah.
More than you might think sometimes, but he's got an opinion about everything. He talks a lot, and
he's generally pretty smart about it. Like he's generally not like oblivious to a lot of things.
And then you just throw in these little, mood tantrums about the golf course being too hard. And that stuff turns me off to Rory because that's not how one of the best players in the world should be acting.
Yeah.
If you want to be the best player in the world, or you want to be in that top 10, you say, yeah, this course is really hard, but I love it. Not
right, and I have some things I need to work on in order to play well somewhere like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
Well, from one course that was hard to one that is going to be really soft. It's Players Week. It's a huge tournament. Just the purse continues to rise as we talked about. Obviously it's a good field. They get everybody to show up. All the top players in the world are going to be there.
46 out of the top 50 are going to be there.
So,
Kevin Na had a child.
Yep. Bryson's out with the wrist
hurts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know who else.
Oh man, who else? Yeah, that probably doesn't matter.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
None of the important ones. So I think let's start with positives, and we're just going to talk about sort of our thoughts on the tournament in general. Nothing's happened yet. It's a Wednesday. Tournament starts tomorrow. I think from a positive standpoint, they're trying to take some points from Augusta, and they'll be filming every shot of every player. So you'll be able to go back and let's say Rahm goes through like a 4-hole stretch, but maybe he's not on featured groups, or maybe you are working, right? You missed that part. You'll be able to go back and watch every shot, of his, presumably on the website, and catch up on everything that you missed. So I think from like a production standpoint, they pull out all the stops for this particular tournament. It usually produces pretty good winners, pretty well-known people typically still have to play well and shoot good numbers here. The course, even though it is soft, it always plays that way, or it, typically does. Like they usually water the crap out of it and make it how the players want to play, but it's still a difficult golf course. So usually, we get some pretty good winners around here. 17 is still always fun. The island green, especially when it comes down to like a playoff and they have to play, that green just like over and over and over again. It makes it fun.
Pete Dye's wife convinced him to do that. She said, I want an island.
That's right.
An island green. They thought she was crazy, but now here we are. Look, one of the most iconic holes in all of golf.
That's right. So I think in general,
and this was a course too when it was built. I think early 80s. This, and I'm sure it's been revamped, here and there over the years. But when this course was first created and they first played on it, players hated it.
Oh yeah,
they hated it. They absolutely.
It was so hard.
Hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, now here we are 20, 30 years later. It's one of the most iconic golf courses, iconic golf holes, and you're right. Like, it's now one of the biggest tournaments of the season. Huge purse, and yeah, I mean, coming down the stretch to have to hit that shot on 17 with that pin tucked on that very right side of that green. I mean, it's intimidating. It's daunting.
Yeah, it's I mean, look, it always produces either one or two shanks or like really terrible shots. Like part of our intro at the end there is one of those shanks, right at the end where it's like, it's a shank. Oh my God, it's a shank. Like, right. It always produces something good. I think, look, in general, I think I'm I'm not a golf media person, right? Maybe one day, we're going to keep the fingers crossed that becomes reality. Keep listening and watching. Thank you to everybody out there. But I think in general, like, I'm far enough away from it that I can sort of get past like all the pomp and circumstance and like fluff that the PGA Tour tries to throw into this week and just focus on it gets an unbelievable field and usually the best players, rise to the top, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
I hope so.
So I mean, I'm gonna pull up some odds because I want to go over the odds for this week. So let's see here. I just want the list. DraftKings, give me the list. Gimme.
Yeah, and people.
All right, here we go.
Like you can go play this course.
Oh yeah.
All right, you can go get on this golf course and you could play it.
It'd cost you $500, but
Well,
it's there. That's for sure.
it's there.
All right, so let's just go top five. Top five odds for winner. Justin Thomas, John Rahm, Colin Morikawa, Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler are top five right now. Scheffler obviously coming off that win at Bay Hill. Rory, because he's won one of these and they just,
Yeah.
he's the Prince of Ponte Vedra, as they call him. Morikawa didn't play last week.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of interesting that he's coming in as like a top favorite.
It's ball striking, man.
Well, yeah, of course. I'm trying not to get too deep into it because I know you'll make fun of me. So Rahm, obviously, and then Justin Thomas, obviously, is your defending champion.
Yeah, he's only played a few times so far this year. I was expecting him to, like, after the season he had last year and kind of the wayward just tournaments that he had, I kind of expected him to come out hot this season. And the tournaments that he's played in, it hasn't been consistent. He's the defending champion. I don't know. It's hard not to pick Rahm every time he's in the field at this point. He's the only one that's been consistent. He's been the most consistent the longest. I know he's had a few weeks now where he's been a little off and hasn't been in contention, which I think drives him to get better.
Yep.
So he's played the golf course enough times. I think he's familiar enough with it. I think his ball flight, his left to right ball flight, if that's going to be not necessarily the best shot shape for the golf course, but I mean, they hit it so far and so I don't know if that doesn't mean as much as it used to.
Right.
But that is something, typically the players requires some more right to left shot.
For those not watching on YouTube, Banks's light just fell. So it was pretty funny.
Yeah,
You good?
That happens.
Everything good over there?
We're back.
Nothing's on fire. Everything's good.
I don't think so. No, no fires.
What's in that glass? What's in that glass you're drinking?
I know. Jeez. There we go. Night's over. Put me to bed.
Cut it off at 1 again. He kicked the lamp over.
Put me to bed. If a fire starts, you know I'm going right for the golf clubs first.
God, we have to go to Vegas in like a month.
Oh man, don't remind me.
We're not in our prime anymore. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Anywho.
All right.
So hey, it's been fun, right? We'll see you. We'll see you next week.
Solo pod for the next 10 minutes. Fairbanks is going to bed. All right, let's talk the next 5 and we'll pick some winners. So next 5 to round out the top 10. Cantley, Hovland, Hideki, Xander Schauffele, Daniel Berger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So that's your top 10 right now, according to DraftKings.
Well, it's hard to. I think Daniel Berger's still in a. Who knows what kind of headspace he's in after. Yeah. After him at the Honda, that's tough. Scheffler's. I don't think Scheffler can pull it off. To be able to the much effort and concentration as he put into the Arnold Palmer. I don't know if he's coming in and going back to back.
So if you had to pick a winner, who you taking?
Out of these top 10 or anybody?
I mean, you can pick anybody if you want to. Go nuts.
Yeah, I don't know who to pick. Nobody plays. I mean, nobody plays enough, and nobody plays consistent enough. It's you don't know who's going to win. You have no idea. I mean, Cantlay I could see Cantlay. He'll be there. I think. I think Rahm will be there.
That's my pick. Rahm's my pick.
Your buddy Morikawa could be there. I mean, ball striking. Out of that top 10, I don't know anybody.
I mean,
who knows what DJ is going to look like? Who knows what Koepka is going to look like?
I mean, Hideki has already won this year.
Hideki has won this year. I haven't really seen Dustin Johnson play at all, but you'd think these guys would gear up for this. I mean, this is, in some people's minds, this is the 5th major.
Yeah.
So you would hope that, these guys that we haven't seen that much have been putting in some time, putting in some work.
Right.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's just hard not to go. It's just hard not to go with Rahm when he's in the field.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick somebody, it's Rahm. No one's sort of proven that they can take that mantle away from him. It's just the best guy out there right now. Yeah. And
I trust him the most.
Yeah, that's a really good point. If you give me another pick, it's Morikawa, just because I want him to win so much. Just because I'm all in on that guy.
Because I love him so much.
Listen, don't get jealous. I still love you too.
Appreciate that.
I promise I'll play golf with you before I play golf with him. All right? I promise.
All right. Deal. I'll take it.
So, I mean, it'll be a really good watch. I'm hoping that they have the PGA Tour live, like for the early stuff. Like, it's been really good on ESPN Plus. The coverage that I have watched, it's been fun to watch. It's been good. They tend to just kind of stay out of the way. There's not a lot of commercials. The app works fine, so everything's been going well from that side. And if this website works like it's supposed to, we're able to go back and watch like every shot, that'll be good.
Yeah, how Masters.com has figured that out and how nobody else has done that.
It's because the Masters I'm not trying to make an excuse, because I think everyone should get to that standard. Like, that should be the standard.
Absolutely.
But when you print money like Augusta does, and you only have to focus on that one tournament, like the reason that all these other tournaments like don't do anything is because they don't care about that. Like the Valspar doesn't care about, putting in the investment, to get all that up and running and focus on what's important. Somehow the stuffy assholes at Augusta hired some good digital marketing people who realized that this was going to be the way to do it, and they seem to be on board somehow.
Comp greens fees to all the top,
maybe
all the top videographers.
They put it out to
there.
Google and Apple. They're like, who wants to come work for us?
Free greens fees.
Yep. For 2 months while the course isn't being renovated and while it's not getting ready for the tournament, you can play on it twice.
Yeah. Twilight. You can come out after 6.
Yep. You have to put a pad down. You can't hit off the actual grass. But you're there. You'll be there.
You're there. I'd probably do it.
Yep, I would too. In a second, I would do it.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to end the night with our favorite topic, Banksy. So tonight, the man himself, Mr. Tiger Woods, is being inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame. Obviously, there's really nothing else you need to say about that, but it's really just an excuse to talk about Tiger. So what I want to read you is, and I'm looking this up on Twitter now that I pulled up Twitter. So I'm going to, when it was Tiger's birthday this past December 30th, which is my middle son's birthday, as I mentioned, I think at the time. Justin Ray, who's a really good stats guy. He doesn't work for any of the tours or anything, but he's got his own company who does a bunch of stats, and he's crazy. He pulls up all these things from out of nowhere. So on Tiger's birthday, he came up with this thread that says Tiger Woods turns 46 today. So celebrate. Here are some of his most ridiculous statistics. So I want to read this whole thing because it's crazy. So if everyone will indulge me, I know you'll enjoy this, but everyone who's listening, hopefully you'll indulge me. So best score to par in majors from 1997 to 2009 with a minimum of 70 rounds. Ernie Els plus 100. I'm going from third to best. So just know that's what I'm doing. Ernie Els plus 118.
Right. So number 3
is Ernie Els plus 118.
Okay.
Number 2, Phil Mickelson plus 99. Tiger Woods minus 134.
Oh my gosh.
Phil was
that's stupid. That's stupid.
I'm telling you, this is all these stats. You're gonna love this. I'm so happy I found it. Phil was the only player within 250 strokes of Tiger Woods.
That's ridiculous.
Okay. I'm going to keep going. In the last 60 years, there are 3 instances of a player winning 5 or more PGA Tour starts in a row. They belong to Tiger Woods 7 times, Tiger Woods 6 times, and Tiger Woods 5 times.
In the last 60 years?
So in the last 60 years, there are only 3 instances of a player winning 5 times or more in a row. Tiger Woods won 7 times in a row. He won 6 times in a row. And he also won 5 times in a row in different years.
Oh my gosh.
Tiger is the only player since 1950 to win the same PGA Tour event 4 years in a row. He's done it twice. The Buick Invitational from 2005 to 2008 and Bay Hill from 2000 to 2003. Tiger Woods has won 7 majors by 3 shots or more, the most all time. The last player before Woods to reach that career milestone of 7 majors won total in men's golf was Tom Watson in 1982. From 2004 to 2006, this one's ridiculous. From 2004 to 2006, Tiger had 1,466 putts from 3 feet and in, measured by shot length. He missed 3 of them. 1,463 out of 1,466.
Oh my gosh. That's incredible.
Absurd.
Okay, so far that one and the first one you gave me are my 1 and 2.
Incredibly, Tiger won his 100th, 200th, and 300th official starts on the PGA Tour. He won his 100th start on the PGA Tour in the 2000 WGC Invitational. He won his 200th start on tour at the 2006 Buick Invitational. And he won his 300th official start on tour on the 2013 Players Championship. Tiger Woods is credited with 41 career European Tour wins, third most all time. He has never played full time on that tour.
Part-time gig.
Tiger Woods is the only player currently under the age of 50 with 25 or more PGA Tour wins. Woods won his 25th PGA Tour title more than 20 years ago, 2001 at Bay Hill. Tiger has 15 PGA Tour wins, including 4 major victories in the month of August alone in his career. The only player besides Woods with 4+ majors and 15 total PGA Tour wins who is currently under the age of 50 is Rory Mcilroy. That's how much Tiger had in 1 month, and they're talking about Rory for his entire career.
For a career.
Yep. That one's dumb. I'm not going to read that. From the 1999 PGA Championship through the 2001 Masters, Tiger's finishes in the majors: win, 5th, win, 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 win. In that span, he had 5 major wins, and only 4 players finished ahead of him combined.
Oh my gosh. That's
in
awesome.
that same span. So in that same span, so the 1999 PGA to the 2001 Masters, most strokes gained total. I'm going to bottom to top again. So number 4, Phil Mickelson, 50.7. In that time span, strokes gained. Ernie Els, 55.2. David Duval, 56.5. Tiger Woods, 115.7. Win percentage by outright 54-hole leader on the PGA Tour. On the PGA Tour in 2021, the win percentage was 26.7%. In the PGA Tour in the last 10 seasons, the total is 42.4%. Tiger Woods' win percentage by outright, if he is the outright leader after 54 holes, is 95.7%. He is 44 for 46.
Oh my goodness.
You're not going to be able to stand up for 5 minutes after we end this podcast. During the entire 2000 PGA Tour season, Tiger Woods recorded 1 round higher than 73. It came in the first round of the Masters that year. He shot 75 on a day when the field average was 75.6.
So he was still below the
field average.
The field average.
And in 1 year, he did that one time. Shot above a 73. In a stretch from the 1999 Deutsche Bank through the 2001 Memorial, Tiger, this is Tiger's stats in official worldwide events. 46 starts, 23 wins, combined margin of victory, 79 shots. 5 major wins in 8 starts, including 4 straight. 11 wins by 3 or more shots. 6 finishes outside the top 10 in 2 years. He finished outside the top 10 6 times in 46 starts.
Wow.
6 times.
Wow. That's pretty good.
I'm still going. I got 3 more. There are 3 instances in PGA Tour history of a player winning 8 or more times at the same course. They belong to Tiger Woods at Bay Hill, Tiger Woods at Firestone, and Tiger Woods at Torrey Pines. There are only 2 instances since 1900 of a player winning a men's professional major by 10 strokes or more. Tiger has both of them, and they were both by 12. 1997 Masters and the 2000 U.S. Open.
U.S. Open. Wow.
Here's the last one. Over the last 10 seasons, players with a 3 or more shot lead entering the final round of a PGA Tour event have gone on to win 61.7% of the time. Tiger Woods is 25 for 25 in those situations in his career.
That's incredible.
He is perfect
Incredible.
when leading by 3 or more going into the final round of a tournament.
Greatest closer of all time.
Like, I don't know, but that got me tinkly. Like, I don't know about you, but
Yeah, and here we are, happy when we see a top player on the leaderboard
right.
in the vicinity of the leaderboard.
This is why people listening or watching, no one will ever come close. This is why when we talk about these kids these days, like, this is why the bar is so high. That is the bar you have to clear in these two guys' minds. And we've
ridiculous.
been unbelievably spoiled. But
like I think the bar just got higher after hearing. You know what I mean?
It's even higher now.
That bar was unattainable to begin with, and now I feel like the bar just went higher.
Weren't those unbelievable?
That's stupid.
Like, that guy could keep going for 50 more.
Yeah,
that was just
right.
like the top 10 or 12 that he decided to put on Twitter.
That's unbelievable.
The man will be the greatest golfer that we ever see probably in our lifetime. Who knows if anyone will ever, I mean, eventually there's every generation has one person.
But that though,
this is why there's no argument for who the greatest golfer of all time is. I know that Jack has more majors. I get it. Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer of all time.
Yeah.
Period. Full stop.
Yeah. Agreed. So, knowing that he's going in the Hall of Fame tonight, we saw him walking in. Still has a little. He walked in shorts and a t-shirt before changing into his suit. But walking in, at least in that right leg, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Definitely a little hitch in his giddy up. So again, what the future will hold, I'm assuming from a golf standpoint, his mind is 1,000% on April. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I mean,
I'm still on.
I don't know.
I'm still on St. Andrews.
Okay, yeah, I don't know his head's at, what his progress looks like. This was the first time we've seen him since the PNC in, I think the pants, playing in the pants, maybe hit it a little bit. I thought, him walking in shorts. I mean, I felt like it was a decent hitch, and that could just be his new.
Yeah, just his new normal, right?
Could and again, like, where does that, what kind of stress does that not having your normal walking motion, what kind of stress is that going to put on his back? Topple that with how much practice he's able to do, whatever. So
put on top of that, just is he physically able to walk a PGA Tour golf course?
I think so. I think so.
I'm gonna stick with St. Andrews. It's flat, there's not, it's not like Augusta where there's all these hills. It's far enough away that he'll have the most time to rehab for it, right? It's the last major. I would honestly be very, very surprised if we see him play Augusta National.
Yeah. So if, depending on when we see him again on the golf course and what version of Tiger Woods we're going to get, kind of recapping his career tonight with the Hall of Fame induction, plus those insane stats that you just gave us, you have to appreciate that man as a golfer. And I agree with you, the greatest golfer of all time, with no disrespect to Jack.
No.
The greatest golfer of all time in Tiger. And, and I heard this question being thrown around, and it's so one. My own question is, what point in his career did he have a Hall of Fame career? Right, we're putting him in the Hall of Fame 30 years, almost 25 years after he first came on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
Like, at what point could you stop his career and be like, Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Fame?
The end of 2001.
The end of 2000. Would it take that long?
Like Tiger Slam, all that. I mean, at that point, there is no doubt. I think you could make arguments for earlier, but I think if you want to like pick definitively when there is zero doubt, that's what I pick. I think you could make arguments for earlier. There are probably plenty of guys that you can go back and look at stats and you could just pick the date and time, right? The Tiger had 3 majors, and this many wins.
But that was like, he would have had to be on tour for 3 years. Max.
Yeah.
And he'd be like unanimous Hall of Famer.
Yep.
After 3 years on tour.
Yep.
So, and then, the other, so that was my question. That was my
What do you
question
think?
I wanted to. No, I probably agree with that. I don't even know 100% after the 2001, no questions, but I'd push it back even further. Like, what, when, so we had the Masters win.
Yep.
And then we had a little bit of a dry spell, swing changes, stuff like that. And then we came out in 2000 and rocked everybody's socks.
Yeah.
From a Hall of Fame standpoint, it could have been after 2000.
Yeah.
2001 is when you're like, that's when the greatest golfer of all time, going to break Jack's record, blah blah blah. But from a Hall of Fame career, it could have been even earlier.
Yeah, for sure.
But and even that's crazy to think about. The guy could have came out and played for 3 years and would have been put in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why we can never stop talking about him.
You can't, and nor should we.
No, we should not.
Nor should we. When you think Tiger Woods, what shot comes to your mind first? Or shots. I mean, if you want to, if you give me one, great. If you give me three,
so the chip in on 16 at the Masters, the one with the Nike roll,
Nike logo. Yep, that's a good one.
That's one of them. The driver off 17 in 2019. I don't think I'll ever forget that shot because he had just come off birdieing 16.
It was. You're talking about the Masters.
Yeah. He almost holds it.
Yeah, he almost hold out. Yeah.
But birdie's right to get
Masters,
to take the lead, right? That's when he takes the lead.
Yep.
And then his driver had been the thing that had been off, right? All week, right? You didn't know, not that you didn't know where it was going, but it was the club that was going to had the most variance. So if anything, I'm just sitting there like, please just hit a good drive. Just hit a good drive. And he pipes it with this beautiful 2-yard fade. And you're just like, Tiger Woods
Tiger twirl.
Tiger Woods just won the effing Masters. Like at that point, you're like, he did it. Yeah. And even though Brooks still had a chance to tie him and all that stuff, I'll never forget that shot. Oh man.
So you've gone you've gone.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something else. Jeez. I mean, the putt at Torrey, right? On the broken leg with Rocco.
Yeah. Yep.
The putt to send it into the playoff. Man, I'm going through ones that are just regular events, and I don't want to bring them up.
I know.
I want to think of really good ones.
We're talking the Canadian Open in 2000, hitting that shot over the lake out of the bunker
with the 8-iron, right, from 200 yards.
Six iron.
I think it was an 8-iron.
Look it up.
I'll
bet
look
you.
it up. All right.
I'll bet you. I'll bet you a beer. It was a 600.
All right.
But even like stuff like that, like pulling those kind of shots off. Firestone in the dark hits it to a foot. All the crowd has their lighters.
Yep.
Is it in a phone? No phones back then. With the flashlights.
Yeah, right.
But people were holding their lighters up.
Yep.
And he hits it. It just so okay. So I said name one. Let's just name like 50.
Like I'm trying to think of like open championship shots. I mean, like the US Open at Pebble Beach, like just pick any shot, right? He won by 13.
Just dominated the course, just overpowered the course. The hitting the drives with the recoil, swinging, the recoil, the tiger twirl.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nobody twirls a club.
Nobody.
Like Tiger. You can't, it's one of those things like you can't name a Hall of Fame shot.
I owe you a beer.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, you do. Not tonight, though. I need to
take it easy.
Not tonight.
Kicking the light over. Yeah, and then there's other shots where that again, it's the one in our intro. I think it's at a WGC where he's in the white mock, t-shirt, like mock neck, the turtleneck t-shirt, where he slices it around the tree, and Maltby goes, "Well, that's not a fade, that's a slice, right?" It's in our intro.
Yeah.
Like the shot around the tree at Pebble when he's in the white sweater, or on 18. I'm sure there's a ton I'm forgetting.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not a fair question because you can't. But like, it's what comes to your mind first, and that the chip on Augusta is definitely one. The celebration on 18.
Yeah.
The 2019 Masters, like just that.
Yep.
That release of just like energy and excitement.
Yeah. Not just from him, but from the crowd. Like, when no one makes people sound like that other than Tiger.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, coming up the tour, coming up the 18th at the Tour Championship, when the fans follow him up the fairway.
You haven't seen that. You hadn't seen that be done in 20 years.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy, and there's just so many shots that you're like nobody else that we've seen.
Yeah.
Can hit.
I mean, like pick
shot.
any stinger, like the stingers at St. Andrews when he won the first time, like.
Yeah, winning a major, hitting nothing but irons off the tee.
Right.
Like that's almost just like I'm just gonna mess with you guys.
Yeah. Right. Yep. I mean, yeah. There's just, again, we could go for another 4 hours without even without even blinking.
Yeah,
we could do that for another 4 hours. But we've hit just over an hour. I think we hit everything that we wanted to. Thanks everyone for hanging in there. Listen, I think you know this by now. We've been doing this for a while. We're on like episode 30 something. So
if you don't enjoy this episode, I don't even want you watching anymore.
It's been a good one, man. I think we had some good stuff, and obviously ending with the GOAT, is always the way we'd prefer to end a podcast. So everyone out there, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Keep, hitting the like button on the YouTube videos. If you do take a look at it, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Obviously, I know I said it at the beginning, and I know it might not sound like a lot to you guys, but hitting even 10 subscribers on the YouTube channel is an unbelievable milestone for us. Because again, I can't stress this enough. We are nobody. We don't, we don't have social media followings, right? We're we're a teacher and like a marketing guy that met in college, you know, and like have been friends for a really long time and love talking about golf. So we appreciate that, you know, even that many people would stick around to the channel and, you know, want to stay up to date with the content. Please make sure you subscribe or follow the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Just search the Two Way Miss. It'll be the first thing that pops up. You know, we got some, like I said, we got some other content that we're planning on filming this year that'll go up on the YouTube channel. So be sure to stick around for that. And we appreciate everybody. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
All right, swing hard, everyone.
Oh, it's not a cut. That's a slice.
Now this is a quack hook.
Oh,
Short
wow.
and into the right rough, headed to the trees.